2 minutes already. All right, so let me just give an overview of what our discussions will be today and the expectation. So we'll be talking about how to become a top-notch uh, product manager. And before we dive into that, let me just introduce who I am. Then I will then hand over to our guest speaker for today, and he's going to introduce himself so that we can get to know him. So my name is Noah Latoye, and I am the CEO of Instinct Hub. And here at Instinct Hub, we basically just think about how to help others achieve success by learning new skills and empowering them with technical tips and ideas that is needed for them to grow in their personal life and also in their community as well. So, and that's the reasons why we do come up with programs like this, just to enlighten the public, enlighten those who are eager to learn new skills and the likes. So, talking about how to become a product manager. So product is something that we experience almost every time. I know the speaker is going to tell us more about this. But to be able to manage a product, there are certain things that are needed. There are certain skills that are needed. And if you've ever, considered looking for a job or looking for a career, product management is actually one thing that you would like to consider, because the role is full of so many opportunities, so many things that people are not even paying attention to right now. In fact, product management is ranked fifth on Glassdoor as at 2019 as one of the best job, with over 11,000 job opportunity available. So that's a lot for anybody to tap into. So we'll be answering like few questions, about 5 questions, and that's what our guest speaker will be, talking to us about. So permit me to welcome our guest speaker, the person of Isaac Durotoye.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Noah. And great job you guys have been doing at Instinct Hub, right? Like you mentioned, my name is Isaac Durte, and I'm the senior product manager at SeedCap, right? A startup studio that actually built startups and fund startups. So, like he had mentioned, a little bit about myself. I've been a product manager for a few years, right? And for the few years that I've been a product manager, right, I've had the opportunity to work on a number of products and work across various industries. I think the first time I was a product manager, I worked on EdTech products. It was very exciting. It was very interesting, very demanding as well, right? Where I actually had to interface with customers, had to carry out a lot of research, how to see how best we can position our products to make it the best product, the most lovable product in town as at that time, right? So that said, after then, I'd work with I'd work in the fintech space as well, right? While working at the fintech space, I worked on payment gateway solution, right? Which is one of the rare opportunities to actually have. Then I work on a number of mobile banking solution, including USSD services and mobile apps, right? I work closely with engineers, work with business units, work with compliance team, work with the legal guys, work with a whole lot of people. And so far it was really, really very, very interesting for us to do.
All right, thank you for that introduction. So quickly, let's just take, because we have about 5 questions here. And the first one is, what is actually the role of a product manager? I heard you mention several things that you've worked on. So with your experiences in all of those projects, can you just tell us what is actually the role of a product manager?
Okay, the role of a product manager. So thank you so much for that question, Noah. As a product manager, the role of a product manager, actually the product manager is actually responsible for the success of any product, right? And the role of a product manager is actually to bring to life that vision that the organization, the management team has, the organization has, for a particular product. In this case, when I talk about products, I'm referring to digital products, right? So the role of a product manager is to craft the vision, come up with strategies, come up with roadmaps, come up with guidance on how this product is going to come to life, right? And funny enough, many people would actually feel like after being a product manager, after releasing a product, the work of the product manager has actually ended. Nah, it hasn't ended there, right? The job of product manager continues to discovering new opportunities, discovering users' needs, continuously discovering the market trend, continuously discovering what's acceptable by the users and everybody around, right? So there are two ways I would like to actually define the role of a product manager, right? First, a product manager is that guy that is sitting, is that guy that uses three hands, right, to hold together the business, the technology, and also the users. For it uses three hands to hold them together and bring all of them together in at the product point, right? So what I mean by that is the product manager actually has a great insight into the business, has a great insight into the technology that would help achieve the goal and objective of the business, right? And at the same time, he's doing that to meet the needs of the customer, right? So it translates customers' needs to business value, and at the same time translates that into technology viable solution, right? So that's it for me.
Okay, good. Great one. And if I listen very attentively, one of the crucial or the connects I gain from all the things you've said is about the strategy. Okay,
Yeah.
development of the strategy. So my curiosity here is how do you tailor your strategy in a way that almost everybody get to accept it? Because almost everybody in a business environment have their own personal belief, personal interest, and sometimes everybody will want to get their own interest to supersede every other person's own. So as a product manager, how do you lobby around to make sure that your voice to the vision of the company is what is on the table rather than people's interest?
Okay, great. Talking about that, it's very interesting to know, right? Like I always mention, the job of the product manager is actually to get the buy-in of people into the vision of that particular product, right? The vision, for example, I think you're focused a lot on business right now than just the users and the technology team. So in terms of business, the business has a goal and an objective that they want to achieve, right? They have a set goal that they want to achieve, that the business wants to achieve. Now, the role of the of the product manager is actually to ensure that the product is building is in line with that goal. Yes, how that goal is achieved, it might become a little bit of it might have a lot of questioning, right? Like the business people, the business managers, the business developers, the CEO, the C-level people might have different opinions about how that's going to be resolved, right? Now, here's what a product manager needs to do. First of all, you don't just come up as a product manager with an idea, no matter how great it is, without having some solid backings for the idea you have. You need to have your data handy, right? You need to carry out what we call discovery. You need to carry out user research. You have to go out there and understand what is the exact pain point of the users. What are the users doing? What are they saying? What are they thinking? What do they feel about the current states that they are? right? Are they interested in getting a better solution to what they have right now? For example, I think Henry Ford's quote is very popular, where he says that if you ask people what they would prefer, they would tell you they need faster horses, right? Now, but the actual solution the users need is not the faster horses. How do I know that the solution to the problem is not faster horses? By talking with them, by observing what they do, by learning how they tend their horses, how they try to train their horses to be faster, right? So at the end of the day, I get to understand as a product manager that getting to know that that they want their horses to be faster is a great deal. So do I provide them faster horses? Can I provide them faster horses? Are the horses that are available out there, can they actually go faster than they are right now? So as a product manager, my job is to combat, because most of the time, funny enough, most of the time business owners actually sit in the same what's it called? They sit in the same in the same box, right, with the users. So as a product manager, it's my job to think out of the box and see how I can bring all these guys together and make them see why we don't need to give them faster horses, but we need to give them faster cars, right? What are the values we are proposing to our users? Are our users ready to adopt the new solutions that we're going to give them? But I can only have that insight when I talk with my users, when I observe them, when I talk with them, when I try to understand what their actual problem is, and not the solution the users are trying to propose to me.
Okay, perfect. So it means that the best way as a product manager to carry out your activities is to have data one side and your ideas one side, because
Exactly.
that's the only way you can justify whatever you're saying and wave away the barriers of the executives. I think that makes a lot of sense. So uh, moving forward to the next question that I have here is, how can someone become a product manager? Like, how can someone become a product manager in this very current age?
Okay, great. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that question. So being a product manager, it's a role that does not have a very straight path to it, right? There are several ways. There are several ways you can follow, right, to become a product manager, right? One of those includes transitioning from your current role to the role of a product manager. How do I mean by transitioning? So first of all, I have something I'm doing currently. I'm giving an example now. This is more like an illustration, right? So I have something I'm doing currently, and I want to transition into product management, right? What are the things I need to do? What are the ways I need to go about it? Now there are quite a number of path to it. First of all, and this comes very highly recommended, right? First of all is you need to learn the product management fundamentals, like every other skill, like programming, like designs, like testing, software testing, like automobile engineering. The first thing to learn in being a product manager is to learn the basics of
Okay, I think um, the speaker is sort of having a technical challenge. All right, so I know that he will join us back very shortly, but I think the conversation is trying to pass across. I think is coming back. All right, welcome back. So just continue. You can go ahead.
So like I mentioned, right? So we have a number of ways we can actually become a product manager. The most important of them is that as a user, as an intended product manager, you have to learn the basics of product management. Just like I mentioned earlier, I don't know if you heard that part where I talk about you learning the fundamentals of programming to become a software engineer. You learn the fundamentals of designs to become a designer, right? So you learn the fundamentals of automobile. How does automobile work before you can become an automobile engineer? The same way you need to learn the fundamentals of product management. And how do you learn the fundamentals of product management? There are quite a number of ways you can go through this process, and there are quite a number of ways you can learn product management. Right. One of such ways includes you going ahead to take one or two courses. You can take courses, there are a lot of free courses, and there are a lot of resources out there. You can read, you can learn, you can meet other product managers to learn from them. You can watch a lot of videos online videos. You can sign up formally to a product school, right, where you can learn the fundamentals of product management. The second step actually is for you to get with, you have to get familiar with product management processes. There are a number of processes that are involved in building a product. For example, this is my favorite actually. The development, that there are four major phases of product. I follow four different major phases in product development. I have what I call the problem, the discovery phase. That discovery phase is where I actually get to understand and discover the need of my users. And this does not just come at the beginning of building a product. Even when the product has been released, you still have to go back to your discovery phase every now and then to keep tweaking your product until it meets the need of your users. So I'm going to use this as an example. You don't wear the same clothes you wore when you were given birth to. As you grow,
Okay, so I think the network is acting up again. Okay, so at this point, you can start sending in your question. If you have question, just so that you won't forget, just type in your question so that the instructor can take it once it's done. Okay, welcome back.
sorry, I think my network has been a bit crazy. So sorry about that. Right? Can you hear me now? So the first step I mentioned, you learn the fundamentals of product management, and the second step is for you to learn the software and the product development, the product development or the product management processes, right? Like I was mentioning, we have the discovery phase, we have the delivery phase. We actually call them the 4Ds. The discovery, the definition, the design, and the delivery, right? So you should know what you do in each of this category. You should know and understand what you have, what is required of you, and when each of these phases actually kicks in, right? That's very important. Then the next thing is for every product manager, right? So you remember I mentioned the other time that a product manager has three hands. The hand you use to pull technology, the hand you use to pull business, and the hand you also use to pull the users, right? So now as a product manager, you need to understand your industry. The understanding of your industry is extremely important. For example, I cannot just wake up today and I'm currently working in the startup industry, right, where we provide services to startups, and we build products across various industries, right? I might be more at an advantage because because of the nature of my job, I need to work across industries. But for example, you can be working in the fintech industry, and overnight, because you have the knowledge of fintech industry, you feel you can just switch and become very prolific in the you become very prolific in the in edtech industry or in agrotech industry. No, you have to learn when you're switching, you need to learn quickly, fast, how that industry works. What are the dynamics in that industry? What's the user behavior of people in that industry? What kind of service are you providing in that industry, right? So that is extremely, very important. In terms of transitioning, right? We're talking about transitioning to product management. It's very important because most of the times, one of the major questions I get from product managers is, or people that are trying to transition to product management is, okay, I don't have the 2 years experience they're asking for. But so there's something they always forget. When you go for an interview as a as a new product manager, a newbie product manager, one of the major question you are asked is not the question of how many years experience you've got. It's always the question of what have you built, right? So it's very important for product managers that are trying to transition to try and create a project for themselves, try and create a project and try and work on that project. You develop your own project, and if you don't have the capacity to develop your own project, you wouldn't mind tagging along and working as a freebie for some people that have some project they're working on and help them build their products, because it's not what you read that actually matters. What you read is not as important as what you can do, right? You might have a lot of knowledge in your head, but when it comes to execution, can you actually execute? The very important thing in product management is execution, and what you execute is so important. Then lastly, I would always advise that as a newbie product manager, after you finish building your own project or your own product, create a portfolio for yourself, the portfolio of the projects that you've done, so you can showcase it, because that's the most important thing. That's the most important thing. That is what sells you. That's what people want to see. That's what would help people say, oh, you've done this, so can you just come over to do this for me?
All right. Thank you for that. So you mentioned something about building project, and the question that employers we oftentimes ask the new product managers. Can you give us an example of project that they can build, things that they can quickly just build to show that and that will attract employers?
Okay, so there are a number of ways to actually go about this, right? As a product manager, one of the things you know, great analytical skill is required. Very great, right? So you might pick a product, an existing product that has already been built, right? And you can decide to focus on a particular side of that product. Let me give you an example. I might decide to build a hold on, let me think around something now. Okay, an outfit management application, for example. I want to build a product that will help me manage my outfit. So let me say, for example, I go for different kind of occasions, and I find myself in different places. There are times I go, so let's say I go to the gym, I go to the office, I go to work, to my office, I go for parties, I go for different kinds of dinners, I go for formal and informal events, and I have problem in terms of choosing the right set of dresses to put on. How do I blend my color to meet this? How do I blend my color to meet that? How do I know the right set of outfit for me to put on when I'm going somewhere? So I can actually I can decide to build a product that solves that particular problem. The problem of what outfit I need to put on for what occasion, right? That's a problem. Let me say again, I might decide to build an application that says, okay, so let me say, for example, there's somebody that's already that's already addicted to a particular, maybe the person's addicted to carbonated drinks, right? And the person wants to track how much of calories he has consumed in terms of carbonated drinks, how much volume of sugar he has taken in, how much volume of caffeine he takes in every day. As a newbie product manager, I can actually settle down and come up with a concept and come up with a product that helps solve that problem, right? That's another example of a product he can work on. I can decide to pick a mobile banking app, for example, and decide to change the user experience for that product and come up with my observation when I'm about the product, while I'm using the product, how I managed to, what are the things I feel the users will not be, what I feel would not excite users using that product. What are the things I think around what users would take, how best can I improve the experience of the users, right? I can come up with new concepts around that and build a product around it as well. So those are just a few examples of products newbies can actually work on, and a number of other ones.
Okay, perfect. So just a bit of clarification. You mentioned that they can come up with a solution or something that shows that they've actually went through the process of solving this problem. To someone listening to this for the very first time, the person doesn't even know how to go about the documentation of those solutions. So if you're to recap just an overview of the best way to document findings, patterns from some of these product reviews that can be done, what are the best tools you think, or best ideas, or best way of documenting these ideas?
Okay, so in terms of documentation of these ideas and stuff, the first thing first is to identify the problem, right? I always mention to people, before you get the tools, get the skills, right? It's very important to get the skill first, because you having the skill will not become so difficult for you to use the tools, right? So one of the first things I would always advise people is, especially when you're new in product management, is first of all, master the art of understanding and identifying users' problems, right? How best can I go around carrying out user interviews? How best can I discover the problem of my users? How do I actually touch their exact pain point, the root cause of their pain, and not just solving it in the surface? There are a lot of tools out there you can use for documentation. Google Docs is there, Confluence, Atlassian Confluence is there, Notion is there, and a host of other ones. There are a lot of tools there for you to document. But before you document, what exactly it is that you want to document? Okay, so I have an idea that says, okay, I want to help people take care of their hair, right? I want to build an application that will help people manage the way they take care of their hair. They need to know when they need to go and barb. They need to know the kind of product that fits their hair. They should be able to shop for creams, for relaxers, for different kind of things that do, conditioners for their hair and stuff like that. The best that meets it, they might want to meet an expert, a hair therapist, or someone that can actually help them out with one or two things. Okay, those are great ideas, but how do I document them? So first things first is for me to define what is my goal. What am I trying to, what is the problem I'm trying to solve, right? Once I'm done documenting that, once I'm done writing that, the next thing is I come up with a whole lot of thoughts, a whole lot of assumptions. Okay, so I want to assume that my users are going to be majorly going to be female, right? Because I believe that women actually pay more attention to their hair than men does, or than men do rather. I want to assume again that women on the average spend 50,000 naira on their hair every month, right? That's another assumption. So that's, let's say they spend $100 on their hair every month. I have another assumption that says that about 70% of women actually carry natural hair. That's another assumption. I have another assumption that says that maybe 80% or maybe 85% of women have specific person that take care of their hair, so they hardly visit multiple hairstylists for themselves. That's another assumption, right? So I have all these assumptions. I have another assumption that says that women spend an average of, let's have another assumption that says women spend an average of 5 hours making their hair every month. That's another assumption. I need to document all these assumptions now. Then I go out there and interview the people, right? First of all, I have to interview women, because right now I've I've narrowed down my users to women, right? So I go out there, I talk to women, I try to find out, okay, how many times do you take care of your hair? What's your average spending on hair? Okay, how often do you wear wigs? How often do you attach something to your, I don't know what they call all those things. You attach things to your hair, right? How much of human hair accessories do you buy? How much of hair products do you use, right? Do you have specific days? Do you have specific that? So by the time I interview a number of people, let's say I interview about 100 women or 50 women, I already have enough data to validate my assumptions. And as I'm taking those things, I'm writing them down somewhere, right? I'm keeping a record of it so that at the end of the day, I can analyze the response I get from those people and use it to validate my hypothesis, whether my hypothesis is right or wrong. So in the course of speaking with those people, I also have the opportunity to know that, okay, what I've said is, okay, the problem I'm trying to solve is actually a problem for me to solve, or they have other more important problem that I need to solve for them than just helping them manage the time, the frequency of how they care about their hair. So that's an example. And so getting to know how to do these things right would help me know, it's more important than knowing, okay, what exact tool do I need to use? Because we have dozens of tools out there that can be used. But the best of them remains with the right one would be when I understand what exactly I need to do, then I know the right tool for myself, for me to use.
All right, thank you. So I think our time is far spent. Um, we need to then go to the next question. And so the question is about where can people learn product management, like where
What
precise
platforms, right?
places where, yeah, platforms.
Okay, so there are different, like I mentioned, there are different ways to learn product management, right? So one of the ways to learn product management is actually by going through learning the fundamentals of product management is by going through various schools, right? Various product schools. You can also go online to learn product management, to read a whole lot. Read a whole lot of articles, watch a lot of videos, attend webinars, join product communities, right? Like quite well, I belong to one. I'm very active on. That's a Product Manager Africa, where you meet a whole lot of you meet hundreds of product managers. You can ask questions. They're very much ready to answer your questions. And you can meet a whole lot of you can also attend webinars. You can attend physical meetups. I know there is Product Tank Lagos. There is Product School Lagos, where you can go and learn and meet, where they have, these people have physical meetups and they teach people about product management. Again, you can learn about, you can go to some, we have a number of product schools in Lagos or in Nigeria here. One of them, the popular ones in Lagos is Product Dive. We have Product Dive. We have, there's this other one I always forget. We have Product Dive. I remember a number of them, but currently, as I'm talking to you right now, I know we have Product Dive. We have university. Yes, you can go to university as well to learn product management. You can also join other communities online as well, right? Like the Product Manager Africa. You can join their online community as well to learn product management. I remember sometimes last year, the Product Manager Africa set up a program called there was a program that was set up last year where prospective product managers or intended product managers were allowed to join. They joined the program. And while they joined the program, they gave them opportunity to learn, as in to work on one project or the other. These people were assigned to organizations and they were assigned to projects. right? Where they learn the fundamentals of product management. They have about 3 months hands-on experience on product management and how to build a product. And I know quite a number of them, as I'm speaking with you right now, have gotten their jobs and they're working as product managers, either associate product managers, management interns in various organizations across the country today. So when I remember the other ones, I can remember very well Product Dive right now, but when I remember other product schools where people can go, and I'm going to mention them. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Sorry, my mic was mute. Out of
Okay.
all of these questions, out of all of these things that you've mentioned, it looks a lot, but at the same time, when you pay attention to it closely, it's more like a step-by-step movement. Okay,
Yeah.
but if somebody is listening to us for the first time in this regard, how long do you think someone can become a product manager? Like, how long, what's the duration? Is it a lifetime thing? Or at what point can someone start looking for a product management job?
Okay. So we have in it varies. One, it depends on dedication, right? Because you can't finish learning product management. Like I mentioned, you keep learning on the job every day, every now and then, right? To keep learning over and over and over and over and over again. So when it comes to product management, I would say that it starts from about 3 months. I would say I'll put it that way, right? I would say it takes about 3 months or more, or more. It depends on how well someone is dedicated to, the person is dedicated to learning product management.
Okay, perfect. That makes a lot of sense. So it boils down again to um, your ability to be committed to the learning, your ability to want to jot down some of the things you're learning. And like the speaker rightly said, it's not a one-time job, because you know why? You cannot finish learning about people. You cannot finish learning about human. The more the human evolve, the more you build tools to help them, fasten or automate some of their processes. And that's why you cannot really say you're done learning product management. But what you can say you're ready for is that you're ready to start taking a product management role. And when you look at it, he has told us that commitment after 3 months of knowledge, you can actually start looking for a product management job. And I think one advice I would give is, when you're done learning after 3 months, please do not start looking for tech giants. Do not start looking for job with those people that are huge already. Those bigger companies, their challenges are huge already. So they're looking for people who have gathered like 10 years, 5 years of experience, and you're just starting, just 3 months into the game. So you're likely not to get the job. So look for companies nearby who don't even see their problems that you can see. Propose your solution to them, and in no time they will contact you for more consultation, and through that they can even hire you in the process. So in a very short description of what I just said, look for small wins after your 3 months of consistent learning of product management, and I think that will give you many benefits at the end. So let me just give our speaker a 30 seconds to wrap up. What would be your advice for the upcoming product managers?
Okay, thank you so much. So some few days ago, somebody tweeted on Twitter, right? Somebody put something up on Twitter rather. He said only if people know that product management is not an escape career. It's not a career you run to because you want to escape stress or you want to escape a whole lot of things, right? So my advice to you is, if you're coming into product management, you have to make up your mind and know that you are going into it for the long hauls, right? It's not a career you just jump into and tomorrow you are tired. Yes, I can tell you this one categorically, that a lot of product managers have their crying nights. A lot. because
Oh, so I think
it's ready. But the failure of your product, I mean,
okay, I think we miss some of the points that you raised. So if you can just take the slight moments before the network got out of the way.
yeah. So like I said that though. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. I said that the success of a product manager is the success of everyone. And the failure of a product manager is the failure of of the product manager. The failure of the product is the failure of the product manager, right? So when the success is thriving and when the product is thriving and is successful, the whole organization, the whole team gets an applause for it. But the moment that product becomes as in is not working the way it's supposed to, then the product manager actually takes the fall for it. Now, you're not just working as a product manager, you're not just working about releasing features. You're working about trade-offs. You're working on trade-offs. You're working on what's the positive and the negative effects of this decision I'm going to take. You're working with stakeholders. We are working with the hippos, you're working with the rhinos, you're working with the zebras, you're working with a whole lot of people in the house there. So your job everyone on the same page and release your products to meet the requirements of your users. So as a product manager, know that you are in there for the long hauls and know that it requires a lot of hard work for you to get to where you need to get to. And trust me, the sky is always the limit.
All right. Thank you. And I think this has been a very impressive conversation. And we also acknowledge our guest speaker for making our time to speak with our audience this afternoon. So we'll keep the conversation going. If you have any question, our social media handle is there at Instinct Hub. You can always, comment or chat us up, follow us, and make comments, and we can continue the conversation. So thank you so much, and thank you everyone for your participation. We are going to be releasing a summary of this very session. So look out to our social media platform for the summary version of this very episode. Until next time, we'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you so much. Thank you,
Yeah,
Noah.
bye bye.
Thank you, Instinct Hub. Yeah, bye.